Cross country time means point of landing. Point of landing. Flight review, 24th calendar month before the month in which that pilot acts as pilot in command. What?
It's going to be Fairport coming in 3000 and contact with take off.
Hey aviators, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ty Jones, your Aeronerd, bringing you honest experiences, reviews, and training tips to help you aviate, navigate, and communicate. Now this video is going to be more of a feedback from you guys because I know that reading the regulations in the FAR M can be a bit confusing. I want to know how you guys are interpreting what I'm reading here. Well, if you read it this way, then it means this, and if you read it this way, it means this. Well, no, it doesn't say that because technically it's part of this. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna bring up two things that I hear come up all the time. So I want you guys to tell me what you interpret this to be, how you guys log your logbook when you're doing these cross countries or when you're doing these flight reviews. Starting with 61.1, cross country. What is the definition of cross country? Now, it'll read in 61.1, it says cross country time means, except as provided in paragraphs 2 through 6 of this definition. So it says, except as provided. In my interpretation, that means it does not include paragraph 2 through 6 of this definition. Anyway, time acquired during flight has to be conducted by a person who holds a pilot certificate. Makes sense. B, conducted in an aircraft. Makes sense too. And that includes a landing at a point other than the point of departure. Makes sense. So notice it says landing there. D, that involves the use of dead reckoning, pilotage, electronic navigation aids, blah, 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 blah. Cool. So that's what that means. It doesn't say anything about the 50 nautical mile, anything like that, because it was not included because the 50 nautical mile, all that is included in paragraph 2 through 6, which this definition kind of omitted that because it clearly says right there, except as provided in. Now let's read the second half of this. Now it's saying for the purposes of meeting the aeronautical experience requirement, now it's going into the requirements for the aeronautical experiences. So now we need to, and note it resets itself. It is not a continuation of conducted by aircraft that holds a pilot license and including an aircraft includes a landing point other than a point of departure. This right here does not include this part because it says right there, except as provided in paragraph 2. It does not include it. So now what does 2 say? It's saying conducted in an appropriate aircraft. Notice it's starting over again. If it was a continuation, it wouldn't be repeating itself. Anyway, so now we get into conducted in an aircraft, in an appropriate aircraft, and that includes a point of landing. Point of landing. This is very important. Point of landing that was at least a straight line distance of more than 50 nautical miles from the point of origin. I'll read it properly. From the original point of departure. Now, what does that even mean? Do you really have to come to does the aircraft have to physically touch the ground at a point of landing? Or can I just navigate to somewhere, do a low approach, it's a point of landing, and then I can go back? Can I really count that as a cross country? Or do I have to specifically land at that airport? Now, I know some of you may be thinking, well, yeah, you have to land. It's a point of landing. That means you have to land. Well, there's some areas that you can actually navigate to that is farther than your 50 nautical miles, and you can't let, like for example, NASA. I fly to NASA all the time. They won't let you actually land there, but they will let you allow to be going down to at least maybe 100 feet, about 500 to 100 feet, and you can literally stay all the way down, fly all the way down the runway. Now we flew there. It was a point of landing. We didn't land there, but it was a point of landing, or any place else, and we came back. It's more than 50 miles. So can you count that as a cross country? Here's another thing. So for you instrument pilots getting your instrument rating, there is a long cross-country requirement for your instrument rating that requires you to go to an airport that exceeds 50 nautical, I'm sorry, 100 and, actually let me look this up real quick. 6165, let me look this up really quick. It says a flight of 250 nautical miles along airways by directed routing, aircraft control facility, yada yada yada, an instrument approach. Now, 3 different kinds of approaches with the use of navigational systems. It does not say you need to go to 3 different airports, by the way. You can actually do all 3 different approaches if the airport that is about 250 miles away. You can do all 3 approaches right there and then come back. Everybody thinks you have to go to 3 different airports. Anyway, but the thing where it kind of confuses people is in here. It says instrument flight training on a cross country. Oh, cross country. What is cross country? Then we go back to 61.1 and then we find the definition again, which is kind of, so do I have to land there or can I just do a low approach and then go? Who knows? Can you even log those other airports? You did a low approach there. There's some that I know that say you can't even put it in your logbook that you even went to. Let's say if I go from Daytona Beach to Lakeland, I shoot an approach in Lakeland, or I go to St. Pete and I shoot some approaches over there. Oh, well, since you didn't touch the airplane on the ground, you can't even put KDAB, St. Pete, back to KDAB again because you didn't physically land there. What do you think? I honestly want to know what you guys think about this. And then another thing that kind of ties into this, well, includes the 50 nautical mile that you have to go to the point of landing. Well, and then I hear some, well, if you don't technically have to land there, since it doesn't say you have to specifically land there, there are some regulations for certification that specifically say you need to land. For example, private. One solo cross-country flight of 100 nautical miles total distance with full stop landings at 3 points. I mean, it specifically says you have to land to count this as a solo cross-country flight. Now, since it specifically says you have to land here, wherever, why does it not say in 61.1, it just says includes a point of landing? So I want to hear what you guys think. Another one, let's see, for commercial pilots, for you commercial pilots out there, one cross-country flight with not less than 300 nautical miles total distance with landings at minimum points. So if 61.1 is saying that you have to land a cross-country 50 nautical miles is a landing, then why do you think they're saying it again for this right here, one cross-country flight? If 61.1 says it's a landing, then it would probably just say one cross-country flight not less than 300 nautical miles total distance, and then it would continue on. But no, it says with landings. So the structure of how the FAR aim is, if it says something starting from the top, it'll literally include everything below it. Like for example, in order to get XYZ, you need a private license, you need this, you need this. And then it'll go on to the other things. It's not gonna keep on going. You need a private license, you need this and you need that. You need another private license, you need this and you need that. In order to get this, you need a private license, you need this and that. It's not gonna keep repeating itself because it had already said it in the very top. So it likes to just say one thing, and that also helps from this book being like, you know, a foot thick. So that's why they mention it, and that's kind of the things that confuse me, because somebody asked me about this and I was like, So what do you think? What is your interpretation of cross country? Now, I'm talking about for experience, for aeronautical experience. Now, for everything else, it's pretty blunt and straightforward about, okay, so if it's not for experience, I can fly from Daytona Beach to New Smyrna, and I can count that as a cross country as long as I land. That's exactly what it's saying. However, if I'm doing it for experience purposes, for logging, for a certain certificate or anything like that, private pilot, commercial instrument or whatnot, then it has to be a straight line distance. What does it have to be a straight line distance? The point of landing. So do you have to land? What are your thoughts? Put them in the comments below. The other one is, so a flight review. Everybody is stuck on, let me go to 6156. Everybody is stuck on 24 months. Every 24 months. That's when it's due. Really? Did you read 6156? Let me read you 6156. It says, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the flight review is, it says, except as provided in paragraphs D, E, blah, yada, 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 no person may act as PIC of an aircraft unless since the beginning of the 24th calendar month before the month in which that pilot acts as pilot in command. What? What does this even mean? Again, let me know what you think in the comments below. To me, I read this as the flight review is due every 23rd month, not the 24th month. It's not every 2 years. It's the 23rd month. 24th calendar month, and it starts before, a month before you act as PIC. So is that 23 months? Anyway, I would love to hear your comments. And if you actually found some other things that is in this book that does not make any sense, please also put those in the comments below. I'll definitely be looking forward to those comments. In the meantime, keep flying, keep learning, and always have fun. I'll see you guys next time.